Welcome to Inside the Athlete's Mind, brought to you by JanetTV.com. I'm Daryl Mobley. Inside the Athlete's Mind gives a look into the motivations, mindset, habits, and secrets of the greatest athletes on earth. Our guest today is U.S. Olympic water polo gold medalist Courtney Mathewson. Courtney Lynn Kailani Mathewson was born on September 14th, 1986 in Orange, California. Courtney attended UCLA and played water polo for the Bruins during their 4 consecutive NCAA national champion women's water polo championships. And she was named to the all-tournament first team. At UCLA, Courtney majored in sociology. Courtney's accomplishments as a member of the U.S. water polo team include winning gold at the 2012 Olympics in London, England, winning gold at the 2012 FINA World League Superfinal in Changshu, China, winning gold at the 2011 Pan American Games in Guadalajara, Mexico, winning gold at the 2011 FINA World League Superfinal in Tianjin, China, winning gold at the 2010 FINA World Cup in Christchurch, New Zealand, and winning gold at the 2010 FINA World League Superfinal in La Jolla, California. Inside the Athlete's Mind is thrilled to welcome Courtney Mathewson. All right, Courtney, let's get started at the beginning. Can you give me your full name?
Courtney Lynn Kailani Mathewson.
Wait a minute. Tell me the origin of the name. That's I'm hearing certain sounds when you speak. What's the origin?
My mom is Chinese Hawaiian. She grew up in Hawaii, and she passed down her Hawaiian heritage in our middle names to my sister and myself.
Very nice. Very nice. Is there anything, when you say the heritage, is there anything about the heritage that you take with you day in and day out?
You know, I think my mom growing up in Hawaii, she was always around the water, down by the beaches, and there's a huge culture of swimming and surfing in Hawaii, so that was kind of instilled at my mom at a young age, and she taught me how to swim when I was 6 months old, got me water safe, and that was kind of the start of my whole entire swimming and water polo career.
How are you on land? Do you like to run or jog and that sort of thing?
You know, if you talk to any water sport athletes, they're not so great on land, but lately in the past couple of years, we've been doing a lot more cross training. So we've been running, sprinting, doing a lot of change of direction. So I am slowly getting better at land sports, but I have to say I feel most at home in the water.
There you go. Okay, all right. Are you married?
I am married. I got married in 2011 to my high school sweetheart.
Oh, look at you. High school sweetheart. Congratulations on that. Do you all have kids yet?
Thank you.
You've done that thing?
No, not yet. We're going to wait until my water polo career comes to a finish and then start focusing on a family.
Okay, all right. Now, I know that you're a gold medalist, and so you've already reached the heights of the sport, and I want to get into that in a little bit. But let me ask you, what other sports have you played?
Growing up, I played tennis, and predominantly I swam, and that was it.
Oh, okay. So your family was all in with water.
Yes.
Yeah, there you go. Okay. All right. What position do you play on the team? And you need to educate me a little bit because water polo is a new sport to me.
I am an attacker, so I play on the perimeter, and it's my job to get the ball into our center, into our center, so hopefully they can score or draw an ejection. And if not, if they're dropped back, then it's my job to find a lane, to create a lane to shoot from the perimeter.
So you do get to shoot?
I do get to shoot. Yeah, that is the highlight of being an attacker.
Very good, very good. What is your, maybe I mentioned it earlier, but you may have something different. What is your biggest accomplishment in the sport of water polo?
You know, I've been lucky to have a lot of success from a young age all the way through my collegiate career and onto the national team. But I definitely have to say winning a gold medal in 2012 at the Olympics was, you know, the pinnacle of my career so far. Quite, for us in women's water polo, that's as high as you can go. And for us to bring home the first gold medal to the United States was really, really special.
Mm-hmm. Boy, that would be exciting. I know I would answer yes to this question, but I'm going to ask you anyway. Did you cry when it happened? After it all ended and the years of practice and sacrifice, did you get emotional or were you stoic about it?
I was extremely emotional. All of our teammates, as we were standing there on the podium, when they were raising our flag, the American flag, everyone in the crowd started saying the Pledge of Allegiance, and we had our hand over our heart, and that's when the tears started for me. It was kind of, the realization that all of my hard work, all that I had put in the past 20 years or so led up to this very moment, and you forget about how hard you worked out for so many years, and it just is totally worth it. So unfortunately, a lot of the photos are not that attractive because I am crying and my eyes are puffy, but I think it really captures the moment and the feeling.
There you go. There you go. What have been the keys to your success in the sport so far?
The keys to my success, I think, is my work ethic. And I've been playing for a long time, so sometimes it gets hard to motivate yourself every single day to go after a workout. But we're surrounded by a great coaching staff and a great group of girls. And it's really easy to look to each other to find that motivation. So for me, day in and day out, working hard and committing myself every single day, to the process, because it is a long process. The Olympics are probably about 480 so days away. And it seems so long, but time passes so quickly. And if I can just commit myself every single day and keep my end goal in mind, it's a lot easier for me.
Wow. Wow. What is the number one most important piece of advice you would give a young girl who wants to achieve a level of sports the way you have? Is there anything that you've learned through these years, all these years, the one thing you share with a little girl and say, this is the secret? What would that be?
I think two really important things, no matter if you play water polo or any other sport, is you have to believe in yourself. It's going to be a long, hard process no matter where you set your goal, what you want to achieve, but you really have to believe that you can achieve those dreams and committing yourself every single day to working towards that goal. And work ethic. You have to work hard. All the greatest athletes in the world put the time in and day out to get themselves to that level and continue pushing themselves to higher levels. So always believing that you can do it and backing that up with hard work.
Now, I got to ask this question because what you say is crystal clear. Did you learn that on your own? Did your parents teach you or some other way?
I think it was a combination of the way my parents raised me and my sister, that anything is possible. You can achieve anything, but it comes at a cost. It comes at hard work, dedication, commitment, and also athletic ability. But that was something that I learned at a very young age, and it was continued to be reinforced as I continued to play over the past 2 decades with the players that I've met, my teammates. I want to raise my ability, and I want them to raise their ability at the same time. And I've been very fortunate to play for a few fantastic coaches that have really helped shape me and, achieving my goals.
Wow. Okay. All right then. What have been the biggest challenges you've had in your sport?
A few challenges. As I've gotten older, it's a bit harder to recover and, to maintain that level of fitness, something that came a lot easier as I was younger. But as you know, as you get older, it gets a little bit harder to do a lot of physical activities. Mm-hmm. And also right before the 2012 Olympics, about 2 weeks before we took off for London, I injured my left elbow. I tore my ligament and also my flexor. So I wasn't really sure at that point if I was going to be able to go to the Olympics, being such an injured state. But I did make it. I pulled through, and obviously we won, so it made everything totally worth it. But in the aftermath of my injury, I've had 2 shoulder surgeries, so I've been trying slowly to rehabilitate and come back from that, and that's just always a challenge, something that I have to stay on top of.
Now, okay, you make me wince just describing, your injury. So you tore, everything's. How did you? Was it mind over matter? Did you somehow amazingly take an aspirin and you were okay, or how were you able to compete at the highest level given the injuries?
I think I was so close to the Olympics at that point. When you're so close to your dream, you do anything you can to fulfill that dream. And for me, part of it was mentally just telling myself it was not a big deal. I can take some painkillers, some aspirin, some ibuprofen, whatever it kind of took to get me through the practices leading up, and then also the games. I also had my arm heavily taped. So in a lot of the photos from the Olympics, and when my friends and family at home watched the games, it was actually easy for them to identify me because my left elbow was taped up. So they're
Wow.
actually like, thanks so much, but that really wasn't, the reason behind the tape.
Wow, wow, wow. You given what you've gone through, there's a question that pops in my mind, and is what do you love about water polo? What is it that's causing you to about the sport that's making you do all of the sacrifices, the injuries, the pain, all the stuff, the dedication of your life to putting off certain aspects of your life? What is it about water polo that's allowing you to do that?
I love how physical and competitive the sport is. And if you've ever watched the game or participated, that's a combination of swimming and water polo. We don't get to stay on the bottom. We have to egg beater or push, pull, kick, whatever we can do to stay above the water. And that's something that I love. I'm an aggressive person. I'm extremely competitive. And water polo is an outlet for me where I can do all those things. I can be physical and it's still within the parameters of the game.
Now, let me ask you a quick, because I always wonder about this, because all I see is what's happening above the water. Do you ever, again, I don't, maybe this is legal, I don't know. Do you kick people, nudge them, knee them? What's happening underneath the water, other than you just turning your legs?
There is a lot going on underneath the water, and it's kind of fun because that's the stuff you kind of see what you can get away with. You kind of use it to your advantage to grab, pinch, pull, kick, whatever you can do and get away with. That's kind of the beauty of the sport. It can get very, very nasty depending on which teams you play. Some are nastier than others, but it's definitely an aspect of the game, and it's something that I think is pretty neat. Not a lot of sports are, they don't allow that in their sports. There's technicals, there's fouls, but water polo allows us to be extremely physical as part of the game. It's almost similar to hockey.
Which countries or opponents would you say are the most physical or dirtiest to play, or bring that out,
Australia.
or maybe bring that out in you? I don't know, whichever.
Australia is very talented. They're very physical. They're very similar to our team in terms of size and speed, so they're always a great matchup for us. The Chinese are pretty nasty when they play. They're machines, really. They just don't ever stop. So you always have to be a little bit tougher, a little bit more physical when you play those two teams, I think. But when, the ball drops, and no matter who you're playing, you kind of have to bring that aspect of your physical game in order to have that mental and physical edge over your opponent.
It's sounding both tiring. It's sounding like the endurance aspect, the strength aspect, and the kind of one-on-one. I'm going to take you down. Sort of the physical me-you sort of thing. Is it where might you place it among the toughest sports to play?
I definitely think it's towards the top. I think hockey is also very physical as well. There's a lot of contact in our sport, but that's what makes it fun and enjoyable. A lot of people have said, oh, water polo is not that hard, but I guarantee you they have never tried it or never seen a game or never been out to a practice. So we always encourage people who don't think it's that tough of a sport to just come watch one of our practices. You can get in. We'll get you a floaty if you want to watch. But it's definitely very physical.
Wow. I could see me out there in a floaty just watching you all go by. But when did you realize that you had special athletic talent?
I think in high school, really. I played club and high school water polo and swimming. And I think at that point, I kind of realized that this is something that I could do in college. I could play at a higher level. And I was fortunate enough to be recruited by UCLA, and I eventually went to UCLA. And for me, it was a great avenue not only to play my sport in college, but also get into the top-ranked university as well.
Yeah, that's a great match. Where did you grow up again?
I grew up in Anaheim Hills, California.
Okay, so you're familiar with it, and you got to stay close enough to home and go to a great university. What your college experience? What was it like as a big-time athlete in college for you?
At UCLA, the athletes are pretty special. They have a huge, storied history of talented athletes and programs over the past, since the very beginning of the institution. So it was pretty special to be able to be considered a student athlete at UCLA, and we were fortunate to have a lot of success. When I was at UCLA, my class won 4 national championships.
Wait! I'm sorry. Are you saying freshman through senior year you won national championship?
Yes, all 4 years.
Wow, you don't know what it's like to lose.
Maybe, it was very, very special, the class of girls that I was with, and I actually was coached by Adam Krikorian, who's now the head coach of the national team. So I've been playing for him since 2004,
Wow. Well,
which
okay,
is
wait.
pretty neat in itself.
That is amazing. Let me just get this straight. So you won 4 national championships. What? Okay, have you ever played on a bad team that with a losing record ever in anything?
My high school team was not as talented as my collegiate team.
Okay, I like very political way you said that. Very good. But but what is it? Okay, so since you've had the kind of yin yang, what does it feel like to play on a team that is that good, that is that accomplished? And I mean, how does that feel? I don't. Obviously, most people don't have the experience of 4 national championships or even one, but to be on a team that is that good, that dominant for that long, how does that feel?
So, I mean, when it was all said and done after graduating, and you look back, and it's a pretty cool accomplishment. We're some of the first female athletes in all of history to win 4 consecutive national championships. But I think when you're in the middle of the process and you're going through it, you don't really think like, oh, of course everyone always wants to win. You want to win whatever, your game, your tournament, whatever you're competing in. But we looked at it more as a day-by-day process. And then once 1 year was done, we're like, okay, we know what our goal is for next year. So there wasn't so much pressure, I don't think. I think it was much easier for us to break it down and take it day by day. But certainly looking back on it, it's a huge accomplishment, something that we're all very proud of.
Did you all have the most talent? Did you have the best coaching? Did you have the best scheme? What was it that allowed you to win? That is a phenomenal accomplishment.
I think each year was a combination of different things. So maybe 1 year we weren't the most skilled athletes. Some teams had better individual athletes, but we were the better team. Mm-hmm. So maybe we didn't have the top 10 players, but we had a bunch of girls who were very, very talented, worked very hard, and worked very well together. And our coaching staff over the 4 years at UCLA, we were coached by Adam Krikorian, and then our assistants were Olympians, 1-time, 2-time Olympians. They were national team members. So we were fortunate to be guided by a really talented staff as well.
Wow, that's fantastic. What is your favorite exercise?
My favorite exercise in the weight room?
If that's where it is, sure. Overall.
Yeah, well, I really enjoy lifting now that I'm at the national team level. I love to do Russian deadlifts and back squats. Those are 2 of the favorites.
Wow.
Yeah.
So Russian deadlift, I can see it in my mind. How does that help you in your sport?
We spend a lot of time in the weight room because all of the work that we do translates directly into the water. That way we can be physical, we can feel strong and powerful and quick in the water. So all these exercises that we do in the weight room help us prepare ourselves for when we do get in the water. We're stronger, we're faster, we're more explosive, and those are all the movements that we do in the weight room that directly translate into the water.
Wow. Okay. All right then. Well, what is your least favorite exercise?
My least favorite exercise is honestly probably pull-ups.
Okay.
Those are tough for me, especially with my injuries. It's that much harder, so I really never look forward to pull-ups.
Okay, fair enough, fair enough. What keywords describe what your family life was like when you were a child?
Keywords that describe my family, very, very balanced. With my sister, my parents, we did our schoolwork, we did our water polo, our swimming, and we had our family time. So we spent a lot of time together. My parents were very, very supportive of my sister and I in our careers for sports, and also they pushed the importance of education on us. My mom was a school teacher for a very long time, so we always knew that it was important to do well in school, and it was just really well balanced.
Mm-hmm. Are you close with your sister?
I am. I'm extremely close with her. She's only a year older than me in school and 2 years in age. So we did everything together growing up. Wow. Water polo, swimming, high school. She went to LMU. I went to UCLA. So we were really close when we were at college.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Well, what relaxes you? Are you doing a lot of things that are high stress? What relaxes you?
I love to cook and bake. I love to spend time entertaining, having our friends over, just having some downtime to do things with my husband. We like to travel locally, and we also like to travel internationally. Just kind of enjoy being together when I have free time.
Mm-hmm. Now, I know that a lot of the Olympic athletes, that don't have professional leagues to go into, for them, financing is a big deal as they pursue their Olympic dream. Is it a big deal with the water polo players, or how is all this? How are you able to put all this together financially and make it work and pursue your dream?
We're fortunate to be sponsored by the United States Olympic Committee. So we do get stipends from them, and they support us financially, and as well as all of our trainings and our travel trips around the world. It also helps that I am married, so I was lucky to find my husband and have part of his income help as well. But my parents and his parents are extremely supportive of us as well. So we're fortunate because a lot of other sports, they don't get paid, they don't get stipends or support. And for us, we're lucky with our training schedule. We wouldn't be able to have another job. It wouldn't work.
Wow. Do you get nervous before you compete?
I do. Whether it's kind of a local scrimmage or a tournament that is not that important, or the Olympic Games, I do get nervous. And I think part of that is that I'm representing the United States of America. I'm not just at a high school or a college game. I'm actually representing millions of people back home. So I think that's a little bit of added pressure that I put on myself. But I think it's better to be a little nervous about a game. You have that excitement and those butterflies. That means you're ready to play. You're anxious rather than being afraid to play.
Afraid to play. When you were a child, what motivated you? What got you? I don't know. What kept you focused and moving forward and working? What was the source of your motivation?
Source of motivation was partly my parents and my sister. Like I said, I'm very competitive, so I always wanted to beat my sister, even though she was older. I wanted to beat her at everything that we were doing. We were extremely competitive. But also, I think once I realized that this sport was something I was good at. I was good at swimming and water polo. I thought there's possibility there might be a future here, and I just really enjoyed that aspect of it. It's always easier to do something when you're good at it, as opposed to when you're not good at it.
Well, let me go with that for a second. So you had the dream. At some point, you just said, "Well, maybe I can do something big with this." And I guess by that you meant the Olympics, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, but let me ask you. Along your journey, I speak with a lot of athletes, and I always try to ask this question. Along your journey, you said it's always easier to be motivated, when you're really good at it. Have you ever seen people who were as talented as you, maybe they were at one time as good as you, but they didn't stick with it?
Yes, certainly. A lot of the girls that I played with at the collegiate level were extremely talented. And for some people, they just don't want to achieve, anything higher. They don't want to go to the next level, or they get burnt out, or they just are satisfied with what they've achieved. And there were a lot of players that I played with at UCLA that were extremely talented that could have gone on to play at the international level, but just decided not to.
Now, I know all the greats, and I've talked to a whole bunch of people, all the greats, they have what you're speaking about, that desire to go to the highest level, the highest level, the highest level. Why then? Why did you keep going when others fell off the tree? Leaves fall off the tree, but you stayed on that tree and kept going. And so I believe that success in sports can be a lonely journey, because you say no to more things that other people say yes to, so you can train and devote yourself. Why did you stick with it?
I think that's the beauty of a team sport and about water polo. I play because I love playing and I want to reach that next level, but I also train and continue to play because I love my teammates. I love playing for them. I love playing with them. And I like the idea that we can grow individually and together to become the best team that we can. And days when it's hard, or you think that maybe this might be the end, you're burnt out, for me, I can look at my teammates and see that they're working just as hard as I am, and we're trying to achieve something bigger and better. So that keeps me committed and motivated to the process.
Wow. I'm getting fired up. I may need to work out after we speak here. This could actually, what should fans know about you that they don't, that they would find interesting?
Find interesting? Really not that interesting. I met President Bush and President Obama. So that was pretty neat. We when in college, we went to the White House. I guess I like to cook and bake. I married my high school sweetheart. I'm part Chinese. Yeah, That's about it.
How tall are
Nothing
you?
too. I'm actually only 5'7". I am the shortest on the team
Yeah, I was
and
going
the
to
oldest.
say. Yeah, well, look at that. I was going to say because my visual of water polo players is they're tall and long armed and you said 5'7", and I thought, wait a minute, that seems. Were your parents married during your childhood? Did they ever divorced or anything like that?
No, my parents are still married. They just celebrated their 39th wedding anniversary last Thursday.
Beyond your parents and maybe even beyond your sister and the competitive sense you had with her, who helped you during this journey?
Several of my coaches have helped me that I had in high school. And also, like I said, I've played for Adam now since 2004, which is pretty rare at this level to play for a coach for that long. So he's actually been a huge support system and motivator for me. He's believed in me from the very, very beginning when I was just very young. So he's been a huge rock for me, as well as my husband.
Hmm.
We have been together for quite some time, and he's seen me throughout basically my whole entire career, and he loves watching me play. He is always encouraging me to go out and, give it my best and never give up, which I think is pretty huge that
Yep. Yep.
he's there for me.
Very good, very good. So you mentioned that you're a 5'7". How do you get over against these bigger women in the pool, taller, longer? How does that work?
I have to be craftier. I think that's part of the reason why I'm so aggressive and competitive, that I may be smaller in height, but that doesn't mean I'm, smaller in the water. You have to play bigger. You have to be more physical. You have to be crafty. And those are all the things that I try to do to make up for the fact that maybe my arms aren't as long or my legs aren't as long, but I'm just as strong and just as physical.
Wow. Okay. All right. What has been your biggest mistake as regards sports or the world of sports?
Hmm. What I think my biggest mistake possibly could have been not trying other sports when I was younger.
Hmm.
Not saying that I wouldn't have chosen water polo or swimming, but I think when you play more sports or you're introduced to them at a younger age, you develop skills that are maybe land-based, but also beneficial for me in the water. So I wish I would have played more sports growing up.
More sports. Okay. Interesting. If you decide to have children, will you have them play water polo in focus, or will you have them do just a whole host of sports when they're young?
I think a whole host of sports.
Hmm.
I think it's important for them to choose what they want to do, and if they do want to play water polo, I'll be right there to support them
Right.
and help, guide them and possibly coach them if they want. But I want them to choose whatever they want to do.
Okay. Fantastic. What have been some of your biggest disappointments in life?
I think leading up to London, not that I could have helped the fact that I got injured, but that was a huge disappointment for me. Like I said, I felt fortunate that I still went to the Olympics, but I could not play. I was not at 100%. By the end of the tournament, I really couldn't swim or shoot or throw. So that really limited some of my participation towards the end of the Olympics. So that was a little disappointing, but at the same time, we won, and I know that I contributed to the team and our success over the past 2.5 years. But it was a little hard at that very moment, I think, to accept that.
Wow. What motivates you now, today, this week, this month? What motivates you?
What motivates me at this very moment, I think, is that I did make it to the top in our sport in 2012, but that was 2012. And there's a new Olympics coming up, and there's going to be several after. And I am motivated because I want to get back to the top. I want to be at the top of the podium in 2016. I want to feel those feelings again. I want to enjoy the process and the experience. And like I said, it's hard day in and day out, but if I keep my mind on my end goal, what I'm playing for every single day, it's a huge motivator for me.
What do you do to keep your mind on your goals? What is there any particular? Do you have any techniques, things you want to share that help you stay focused?
I do a lot of journaling, so I write down, about my daily practices, how my body's feeling, how I felt I did in practice. I do that quite frequently when we go on trips, the same thing. So I try and just keep my focus on day in and day out, or maybe a goal coming up in a week or two or a tournament. But constantly reminding myself why I am training and what I'm looking forward to and why I want to get better. Focus on the little things, so then eventually a week passes, and then a month, and then a year, and then we're, at the Olympic Games. So that's a huge strategy for me. Just take little steps one at a time, and eventually they're going to lead to that big step.
My goodness. The name of this show is Inside the Athlete's Mind, and I'm telling you, you are opening up your mind. It is a champion's mindset. Which of your major accomplishments surprised you?
I think going 4 national championships at UCLA was kind of my first taste of victory, I should say. So that was pretty neat when it was all said and done. I thought it was pretty cool accomplishment. And also the Olympic Games. I mean, I know we won and that was great, but just to be able to go and participate, to go to the Olympics, something that I dreamed of since I was little.
Mm-hmm.
I used to cut out the medal count out of the newspaper in the morning and always followed the U.S., whether it was summer or winter Olympics. So that was pretty special, I think, now reflecting on it. It all happened so fast, but now that I've had time, to really process it, it's something that I think is very, very special.
My goodness. What was your most embarrassing moment in sports?
Most embarrassing. I think embarrassing for me is water polo doesn't get very much coverage, really, ever. Mm-hmm. But then sometimes some photos make it out into the internet or social media, and they're extremely unflattering. So that's always embarrassing because they all look very similar. We have tap on or swim cap, and we have to have our playing cap. So that's always embarrassing when you get caught in a bad photo because we really don't get much publicity. So you're always like, why would you pick that photo?
Very nice. All right. Final question as we look into your mind. What's the next big thing for you after water polo?
The next big thing for me after water polo is definitely trying to start a family. Mm-hmm. As soon as I'm done, we'll retire, and that's the next step for my husband and me.
Wow. My goodness. Is there anything else you want to share with people? You have unloaded on us.
I am a huge sports fan, so I really enjoy watching hockey and baseball. I'm a huge Anaheim Ducks fan, go Ducks, and I love Angels baseball. So we try and go to as many games as we can. That when I'm training, and when practice is a little lighter, I can go to a few more games. So that's always nice to take a moment away from water polo and go watch some other professional athletes play at a high level.
Who do you admire from another sport? Any particular athlete? You say that's the athlete that I look this person, I take things from his or her game.
I've always thought that Derek Jeter carried himself in the most respectful way as an athlete. He did what he did. He played hard. His teammates love and respect him. His fans love him. And I always thought that was really neat that he wasn't really caught up in the celebrity of being such a great professional athlete. Mm-hmm. So he always kind of seemed really focused and kept his eyes on the prize. And that's something that I really admire about him as an athlete.
And he certainly won a lot as well, so that helps.
He did. Yes, it does help.
Wow. Well, Courtney, this has been fantastic. Thank you so much for your time. I know you're busy and you're preparing to take off and go and represent the U.S. Where do you go to next?
We're heading to New Zealand for 2 weeks next Thursday.
2 weeks in New Zealand. I assume that's not for a party. What's going to be going on there?
No, we have World League prelims. So there's a league all around the world, and our tournament actually is taking place in New Zealand this year, which is pretty neat. So we'll travel down under there. We're hoping to make top 5 so we can qualify for World League Super Final, which is in China at the end of May.
Okay. Any predictions?
Yes, we're going. I think we'll be fine down there. We'll take care of business and we'll qualify.
Well, thank you so much. I wish you the very best. We're going to watch you in the next Olympics and in all these events between now and then. And at any time, if you get a flattering photo you want to share with Janet TV, you can just send it to us and we'll post that one. All right?
Sounds great. Thank you.
was like, maybe you should put your medal on in case there's someone here. And then I kind of heard a little bit USA, and then it was amazing to see all the people here. It's great to be able to come home and share this with all my friends and family that have supported me over the last 15, 16 years in this journey. Huge Ducks fan. I'm so glad that they wrote down my bio and they talked about it because that's really cool. We've been going to games for a really long time, and thanks to my husband and his family. But it's really fun. I love how physical it is. That's something that's the same aspect in water polo.
We got the picture of Courtney with the Ducks T-shirt in the village, and it seemed like it got a lot of attention on Facebook. So that was pretty neat to see, and just feeling, getting the community together, rallying behind Courtney was really nice. And then we spoke about maybe having Wildwing come, and you guys made it happen, which was amazing. I know when I talk to her later, she's just going to be beside herself. So it's been an experience.